Many ships have traveled through the bodies of water surrounding northern Michigan, but their journeys wouldn't be successful without a little help.
Which brings us here to Presque Isle. In this week's Field Trip Friday, we check out 2 historical lighthouses.
Let's go. The old Presque Isle Lighthouse was built way back in 1840 by Jeremiah Moores of Detroit.
Although it's 175 years old, the stone and brick tower still stands today at 38 feet high. In northeast Michigan's picturesque Presque Isle County lies Ocquioc Falls.
The word Ocquioc comes from a French term meaning crooked waters, which perfectly describes the winding stream.
It's the only publicly accessible waterfall in the Lower Peninsula, allowing visitors to enjoy various activities. Fudge, horses, the Grand Hotel, and timeless scenery. Mackinac Island is the place to be. The Thunder Bay Resort's elk viewing rides is an award-winning experience that attracts people from all over Michigan.
And that's because they're very hard animals to find. Although there is a lot of them, elk are spread out through 1,700 miles of Michigan. When you do the math, that means there's basically 1 elk for every 700 acres.
That's right, and that's in some of the most heavily forested and underdeveloped areas.
So here in Hillman, 160 acres of the resort is home to the Rocky Mountain elk herd. Our tour guides told us everything we needed to know about them right before our viewing experience began. Being upside down while zipping across a line, a feeling like no other.
Zip lining is exhilarating, and the views were one of a kind.
That's the unique part about Boyne. No matter the time of the year or what the weather looks like, they have zip lining year-round.
This lighthouse was built in 1840. It's one of the oldest lighthouses on the Great Lakes. It was basically, at that time, Presque Isle Harbor was a big lumber and fishing port. And so it was basically built to guide those boats safely around the bend and into the harbor. And it did a really good job for like 30 years. And when the Soo Locks opened, the shipping industry on the Great Lakes just exploded. And now we didn't just have fishing and lumber boats, we had big ore boats coming down from Lake Superior, and they needed safe guidance along that portion of Lake Huron. So they built a new Presque Isle Lighthouse down the road, which you guys are going to go visit.
Lighthouses have played a vital role in a sailor's mission.
And they still continue to help ships to safety today.
Join us next week for more adventure.
There's no evidence of any corrosion whatsoever on that line.
What we're fundamentally dealing with here is rust.
There's no immediate need to take any additional steps on it.
Right from the beginning, there were several gaps under the pipeline. Since that time, the very strong currents have washed a lot of soil out from under the pipeline. This guy is exact scale for the 2 pipes that are under the straits. Of course, they couldn't put, I believe, this big a pipe under the straits at the time, and so they chose to put 2 20-inch thick-walled pipes under the straits. You can see this pipe is much thicker and heavier than the pipe that's buried. Now, this pipe is made out of a very common grade of steel, well, like coat hangers, so it's pretty flexible, and it was a very good choice for the job, but it's very old now, and we have some questions about that.
But unfortunately, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Structural deficiencies were apparent since the beginning of its creation, and over the years, Enbridge has used a series of support systems to keep the line from bending or breaking from a lack of infrastructure support.
2 figures to remember. In the easement for the Straits crossing, the pipeline was limited to no unsupported span greater than 75 feet. And that requirement has been broken very many times. There also, in the engineering documents that I've researched, there was a statement that at 140-foot unsupported span, this structure wasn't stable. And there have been a number of times when spans as big as that have been allowed to develop and where perhaps the pipe has been bent. So there's some real concerns about the lack of support, and that's still going on.
According to Enbridge, 22 new supports will be installed over the summer. These steel anchor supports will go down 10 feet into the lake bed and hold the pipe in place, hopefully keeping the 63-year-old pipe safe for a few more years. If not, the world's largest source of freshwater, the Great Lakes, will be irreparably damaged.